Good morning, Suburban Prepper. Doing my morning live feed. Morning Prepper, episode 3. Everybody doing okay?
Alcoholism a lot too. Bit
Turn
rude,
off
isn't it? We're trying to step away from a lot of the stereotypes.
I turned the music down, I guess. There we go. And we're off. This week started out Memorial Day, which I always thought was whatever day it was the end of May, like the last day of May. I always thought that's what the day of Memorial Day was. I guess I was wrong. It's not. Yesterday, I had a root canal done at the hospital where I get my dental care, and I was nervous, but it didn't. It was a very pleasant experience. I took a Tylenol for the ache, and they definitely killed the whole nerve. So the root canal does. Gonna get. Anyway, yesterday I edited my AR-10 video, except for the last 30 seconds. I forgot to edit that, but I'll fix it. Didn't realize that I can do the background thing where, the background's blurry with this editing software that I paid for. I'm afraid to do something and ruin what I've already built on it. Slowly, I'm learning how to use the technology. This technology that I do a live feed with is I can do it on my phone and I can do it on my laptop. Same features on each. Don't you hate it when someone behind you is a more aggressive driver, which is their right, okay? But you're not. You're not going to be one. And then, they give you that look because you didn't turn because you could have gone fast enough into traffic. Anyway, I digress. Another good thing I did yesterday was I repacked my medic bag into a more approachable sequence. I wanted to get rid of, well, I'm not getting rid of it, but I'm not using my Black Hawk bag anymore. I don't have a need for it. I'm not going to put it on my shoulder. I'm not going on patrol. Why do I need a Black Hawk medic bag? Just because it looks cool. I have another bag that's just a nice square bag. Not fancy. And I used my military butt packs to store some stuff. And I also used the gallon ice, those bags that you put in the freezer bags are like a gallon size to store stuff. To me, that's more realistic and easier access as a medic bag. If you've ever used a medic bag before, well, the medics will know. everything gets messy so quickly. The more organization you have, the better. And you got to know it. Like when you're working with your Black Hawk bag or your old M5 medic bag, you got to know where your gear is. Almost, you got to be able to use it, know where it's at with your eyes closed. And I pack my bag according to body systems. Okay. Like I have all the airway stuff in one packet, except for the King LT. I keep that because that's a big component. I keep that by itself. I have dressings and bleeding in one part. And along with that is the tourniquets. Okay. I have one IV bag with tubing instead of mixing it all up. I think I'm going to have to do a video on it just to show you this is what works for me now. You do what works for you. So anyway, video I did on my AR-10 was about my AR-10. Originally, it was a DPMS AR-10, and I wanted to get a better upper. So I bought a battery from a company, and in the video, I wasn't sure if the company existed or not. They don't make the same things that they made like before, but the upper that I have for it is still good. And I take everything apart that I would normally do, top out it, and I put it back together. It took me about an hour to make the video after, okay, with 22 minutes or so. When I do my videos, I don't hit pause if I'm going to move the camera to a different angle. I just get the camera and I just move it to where it's supposed to be. Okay, that looks pretty cool. Okay, I got sound going on this time. So the gun store called and said that my AR-10 upper, a new one that I'm getting, is ready, and that my 300 Win Mag upper is ready. I'm yawning. And I'm glad. I could have picked it up yesterday, but I couldn't. I'll get it today after work or on Saturday. Now I want to know where I ordered some magazines. They're going to come in when they come in. But the issue that I had with my new AR 300 Win Mag upper is the bolt carrier group was missing a firing pin retaining pin, and I couldn't take the firing pin out. So I contacted the company. They sent me well, I did it myself, but a thing where you send back the defective part and they'll send you a new part. So I don't know what kind of review I should give this Bear Creek Armory if they let something like that slide, but they were pretty quick to fix it. Because here's what I'm thinking, that what I want to do is, I don't know. What if I got a 6.5 Grendel? I don't know. Maybe I should just stick with 300 Win Mag. But what I'd like to do is get one of their AR AR-10 bolt action uppers because you can use your own magazines on your AR rifles. And the problem that I have is when you have the same up or lower, like an AR-10, but different caliber upper, that can lead to problems because you don't want to shoot something through something that wasn't meant to be shoot. It'll make your rifle explode. Like I have a 224 Valkyrie, okay, which is a long range 6.8 AR-15 caliber. But I have a dedicated lower for that now. And the magazines are similar, but they're shaped differently. I couldn't fit a 5.56 magazine in my 224 Valkyrie. But they look so familiar that what I end up doing is I mark the 224 with a nice colored magic marker that's fluorescent so I don't misinterpret it. So I'll probably ixnay on the getting the 6.5 Grendole. And the reason why the barrels are not considered like the ATF component that you need to get a background check for a rifle is because some barrels, after 1,000, 2,000 rounds, you have to swap out the barrels and buy a new one. You have to do that when a rifle, like a round shoots hot. I'm told the 6.5 Creedmoor shoots hot, and I'm just not that good, folks. I'm just not that good. And I can't grow a ponytail up here because you have to have, to shoot a Creedmoor in America, okay? It's state law. You got to have a ponytail growing here. And obviously, folks, my hair doesn't grow a ponytail. So today's Friday. Off to work. I wasn't at work yesterday, but I didn't leave anything unturned or untouched, I should say. So today should not be a bad day, just a regular day. I was hoping, honestly, to take my 300 Win Mag to the gun range this weekend just to zero it at 100 yards. But that'll have to wait. Yeah. Yep. That's a good thing about editing videos. When I make them, I can say all the yep, yep, and I can just edit those out because I usually say those after the end of a sentence just to stress that point because of my insecurity of speaking on a camera. That's what they say anyway. So I think it's time this weekend that I do another video with my cool fancy camera and, excuse me, the microphone that I can wear walking around, and I'm going to weed my garden. because there's some weeds that are starting to grow. The ones that I absolutely know are weeds. When they're baby carrots and they're growing, you can't really, it's hard to tell if they're a weed or not. And I can tell that the garden definitely growing the carrots. But I want to get some weeds going before they get too big. Put them in my compost bin. And then I'm going to get some manure. Okay. I'm going to buy it. Okay. I don't have cows. And I'm going to put some of that in the compost bin as well to help bury some of these cardboard boxes so they can decompose faster. I like to compost cardboard boxes, folks. They actually decompose faster than a lot of you would think. You got to make sure you take all the tape off because tape has plastic on it. That film, so I'm told. And we'll see what happens. And you have a nice bed, and it's all ready. And you can, what I'm going to do for that is use that as filler for next year when I fill my beds up with new soil. So basically, I'm eating cardboard, is the joke that I use. What crops are you growing in your prepper garden? So the two movies I want to see this year, this summer, of course, this is the new Superman, okay, and the Fantastic Four. Now, this new Superman movie, they used the John Williams theme from 1970. I think the movie came out in 78, if I remember right, because I was first, second grade back then. 78, 79, second grade. And of course, it's a Fantastic Four. I don't know what theme song they're going to use. Time to drink some coffee. Brought to you by my wife. Thank you, God. Oh boy. So I have an Anchor power thing that you can hold that I'm using to recharge stuff. That you can use a USB cord or that other tiny cord thing that you can plug things in to charge them. And you can recharge the Anchor by plugging it into the wall or using it as a plugging it into the wall to recharge that. So you have a portable power source. The idea being that I would take it when I go out and do stuff, like to the gun range or something, and I want to recharge something. Anyway, I bought a 60-watt. That was small, but it's good enough for me because that's all it's supposed to take. It's a 60-watt panel to recharge my little Anchor thing. Now, understand that no 110, nothing 110 can be used on this. It's all the USB. What patch is this guy wearing? I swear that looks like a. Is that a Trident? No. Oh yeah. Gotta show you something. Shit. I pull over. You're gonna get a kick out of this. I gotta show you this, okay? I had to pull over for this. All right. Okay, get back into traffic now. Thank you very much. So I went to the VA for my care, okay? And I got this U.S. Army retired sticker. Have it. I don't even know if I'm going to put it on my car or anything. I'll put it on somewhere. And two, any of my fellow paratroopers see this? 82nd. I don't know why they put a period on the end. Airborne wing. So they sell this 82nd Airborne wing. And I didn't know that the 82nd Airborne was now part of the United States Air Force. It was a wing in the Air Force. So I had to Google it online, okay, on the YouTube to see is the 82nd now an air wing? Because it's an airborne wing? And so the Google thing told me no. And the 82nd is an airborne division still at Fort Bragg, North Carolina, part of the U.S. Army. So obviously these people didn't know what the hell they were ordering when they ordered this, and it got sent from China. And I had to buy it because it's stupid. Of course, I was sitting down at the cafeteria. I wanted to eat a little breakfast before I had the root canal done. All was well. And I'm looking 82nd Airborne Wing. And I think they confused the word jump wings with a wing. And the people that work there, the owner, because that's like a boutique that they have. Chicago, I don't get it. But anyway, the lady there had no idea what the hell I was talking about. So I was thinking about just taking a picture of it, but I spent a couple bucks on that. A ripoff, but it was a funny ripoff. And then the guy I was talking to, the guy that worked at the VA, he was there while I was paying for my shit. I really care less what he did in the Navy. He was a Navy corpsman, but he checked the food and stuff. It's like, okay, you're a Navy corpsman. Shut down the food. And I thought that was a little weird. So the few fellow paratroopers that I have, there's a handful. Not very sociable people, honestly. I get a kick out of the 82nd being called 82nd Airborne Wing. It makes me wonder if they're going to move all the airborne forces to the Air Force. Which it doesn't. It's stupid, but, didn't get it. Hi. Here I am. I'm in Illinois now. I'm on my way to work. It's almost 7:30. Yeah, just an awkward moment of silence there. 82nd Airborne Wing. What's going to happen this weekend? This motherfucker. God, I just want to ram into you, man. I just want to ram into you. Goodness. Illinois drivers really set me off the wrong way, folks. It's a mentality that these people have. It's just, I don't get it. Oh, I'm not from Chicago. I'm from the suburbs. It's the same thing, dude. I'm not from Chicago. I'm from the suburbs. We don't drive like that. Yeah, you do. So I'm doing about 50 and a 40, and that guy just whipped on by me. Oh, well. I want to freeze dry something this weekend. That's what I want to do. I want to go and get some food. And I want to put it in my freeze dryer. And I want to freeze dry it. And I want to make another freeze dry video. I want to do a radio comms check in my truck and at home to see how far out some of my radios will go. Well, only one radio. I want to check. We'll see. I'm going to ixnay on going to the gun range this weekend because I want to wait till my bolt action or bolt carrier group for my AR 300 Win Mag get here. I want to make a video comparing the AR-15. Oh, here would be something cool, folks. I want to make a video comparing my 22 LR AR-22. I don't know what the hell to call it. Basically, it's a 22 long range that looks like an AR rifle, semi-automatic. Okay. I want to compare that. And I want to compare it to my AR-15, which is another 22 caliber round at 223. And then I want to compare that, folks, to my AR-10, or as I refer to it, as my LR-308. Okay? Okay, you get where I'm getting at with this? And then I want to compare that to my new AR 300 Win Mag and have each magazine and just do a little analysis of each one. And then I would take each one out to the gun range and shoot it. But here's what I'm learning, folks. I can only take one rifle out to the gun range at a time before rifle fatigue sets in. And once my eyes get used to looking through one set of scopes and I have to switch to another, that's when the fatigue sets in. to the point where you forget how the functionality of each scope is a little different, and you're just making mistakes. Has anyone experienced that, shooting multiple different weapon systems, trying to get them zeroed or shot at the same day? And you're already working like you're in a rush because you're paying for the range time. Not that big of a deal, but it is, because you have periods where you have to take a break. They require it so people can change targets or whatever. And then just the stress of shooting them, just relaxing, but still. And then the stress of looking through different optics when you wear bifocals already. I can't do it. At most two. And I'm saying at the most two different rifle scopes or different rifles. When you're trying to just get a good zero, you're not calculating for windage or elevation. You're adjusting the scope basically like that minuscule amount of windage and elevation just to get the scope zeroed. Does that make any sense to my fellow shooters? I don't have a chronograph, okay? No. Someone asked about that. I don't keep a chronograph on me. I'm not that good. I still don't, how do you put it? I don't reload my weapons yet, or my rifle, my rounds yet. I have all the pieces for it, but I'm afraid to do it in my basement. Yeah, I would like to have, I'd like to have a lot of stuff. If you know what I'm saying, lazy. Anyway, yeah, I would like to have a dedicated, my own private little gun range that went out to, I don't know, a kilometer, or I could shoot my 50. But I don't have that kind of money. That requires land, and that requires land out in the country where the local yokels can not charge you with a negligent discharge of a firearm just because you're out in your backyard playing. Stuck behind a train, but that's okay. 7:34. Train is going west. I wonder where it came from. And I wonder what they're carrying. Potash. That's that chemical. Potash Corporation. And that potassium phosphate. And then you have the train tracks. I don't know what they put on those little other ones. What do they fit on these? You can't see because I don't have the camera facing towards. Anyway, isn't trains just looking at them mesmerizing, folks? I'm be afraid if I was a hobo and I slept on a train, right? And I was sleeping on a train, like hobo in it, that I would fall off the train when I was asleep. I don't know. So weird. Oh, look, the end of the choo-choo. Now, if you had a train set, around your Christmas tree that large, like a couple hundred, that train set would have to be, the rail would have to be like all throughout your house, up and down. It probably wouldn't be worth it. You'd need like a couple of miles of rail just to make it work. What's that? Want to hear something weird about the town that I live in? Because I'm going to tell you. They built a new police station and a new fire station. Okay. The city did, which means the taxpayers paid for it. But for some other reason, they can't get water to it. And I'm sure there's more politics involved in that than what I would know. Because if they have the old fire station next to the Strax and next to the elementary school, the new fire station is on the same road as the police, where the restaurant, the Lighthouse, is. But they can't get water to it. I don't understand that. Are city planners an elected position or a selected position? Because some city planner needs to get fired or thrown out of office. I really don't know. We have a town council, basically, but we don't have a mayor. Okay? He's not called a mayor, he or she, or whatever they are. The nuances of this town that I live in, usually every town or city's got a mayor. They definitely got a police chief, they definitely got a fire chief. But no mayor. It's a city, something or other. Yeah, it's a small town, and I wish it would stay small, but it's growing. And they're not really prepared for the size. Okay. The internal logistics can't handle, the infrastructure can't handle more people. But yet, and I'm not opposed to companies, building houses and people moving in, people that want to escape, the refugees that come from Illinois to Indiana. I get it. You want your freedom, okay? But yet you still keep voting for the Democrats in Illinois that you voted for that cause your state and cities to go to shit. You come here across the border with your purple hair, your tie-dyes, and you vote for the same people wanting different results. And maybe you don't realize that the reason why your state and city of Illinois went to shit was because of these Democrat policies. And you want these same Democrat policies across the border in Indiana, but yet you still want your lower taxes. It's not going to work both ways, folks. That's what I deal with. First world problems, obviously. So yeah, I'm gonna move eventually. For sure. Gotta finish my coffee up. I don't like taking it to work. I've noticed I've kept I don't write it down. A lot of times my patients I'll have a twitch in my arm and they think that I'm mad at them. Or I'll squint my eyes and they'll say I have an attitude problem. The worst yet was when I was still recovering from congestive heart failure, okay? And couldn't get the medications adjusted right. And I was not breathing great. I had a patient complained that I was yinning and yawning about working with them or taking care of them. Like I was taking deep sighs. I think the lady fired me. I don't really give a shit. I don't ever seek any, but when you tell me that you want to get a second opinion about something, and I'm like, okay, go ahead. You know, it's great. Get a second opinion. And then you ask me to put a referral in for it. I don't put in referrals for second opinions. I said, sure you do. I said, no, I don't. You could put one in for the community. Like, no, I can't. Oh, I couldn't make it. I am not going to get a ticket. I've gotten 2 tickets on this intersection of Volmer Road and Halstead. They love getting out tickets because they got the ticket machine thing here, the camera. Anyway, I digress. But if the weather's nice this weekend, what I'd really love to do, I'm just going to go slow, motherfucker, because you're out, guys, halfway out in the road, thinking like I'm going to wait for him so he could just cut me off. Because of 400 years, whatever. No. Dude, you're out in the middle of the road. That's your problem. You're obstructing traffic. I'm going. Anyway, I want to get my Fresnel lens out, okay? I really do. And I want to get a bunch of leaves and other combustible material on the rocks, okay, so I don't like burn my grass. And I want to catch fire. And that's what I want to do this weekend, folks. I can do it in my backyard where people won't look at me weird or call the cops because I think I'm trying to do something. You can't even zero, just. So one way you can just eyeball zero a rifle scope is literally look through the rifling down the barrel at the target that you're aiming at, and then line up the scope to adjust to the same height. I did that one time, but it was in my front yard, and people thought I was aiming a rifle at them. And I'm like, no, I'm just. It wasn't charged. It didn't have a magazine in it. It obviously didn't have a bolt in it because I was looking through the barrel. because you want to do it on an object about 50 meters away. Just to get an eyeball of when you're absolutely zeroing something from nothing. One thing, folks, you need to check, though, when you are zeroing your weapon system is make sure that well, you're going to check a lot of things, but one thing people often overlook that I've noticed in my limited experience is that the scope aligned perfectly parallel to the earth. Okay. 2 is the scope mounted properly onto the rifle where it doesn't wiggle when it shoots. 3 is that if it's a bolt action, are all the screws that are holding the bolt action together need tightening. So that's why you always want to have a hex key to check everything and make sure they're tightened appropriately. Anytime you go shooting, anytime you clean a rifle. And I don't believe in using Loctite on these things because if you want to take them out, it's a lot of work to do when they're hex, when these bolts and screws that you hex with Loctite and you want to change everything out. It's a lot of work to do that. Okay. Well, I'm going to sign on out. I got to go to work. Have a good day.